more important than anything in this life is how you see yourself and what you see yourself as. That's why there is a lot of conversations around self-esteem, confidence, intrinsic motivation, and the importance of a positive. I don't think you're saying positive, yeah, which is also fit, but positive and a what you believe yourself to be is very important beyond many things because we we don't experience the same world or the same. We are not all having the same experience because our minds are different. We can have the same parents, grow up in the same house, everything is the same, but we are different people in the end because of that, because of what we believe, right, in our minds, what we believe we are. And that determines how we see the world and how we interact with it. That's why if you think that you are defeated, you think that you won't amount to anything, you think that then you see reason in the world, you begin to see clues of why you are the way you say you are, because this thing is a positive, it's a feedback loop. It gives you feedback of whatever you're putting out there. It's just like how your TikTok algorithm, your Instagram, your, let's say your social media algorithm, everything you say, it's not the same for all of us. It gives you more of what you want, things that are linked to what you want, right? So even life is like that, except we browse with our thoughts, we browse with our thinking. What we constantly think is what consistently kind of shows up in our surroundings. So if you continuously tell yourself I'm not gonna make it, you will find reasons as to why you are not going to make it. They will manifest all around you, right? Because that is what you think within your mind. This is what's on your mind consistently. And it's not really the eyes see many things, but the interpretation of what is seen is a product of your belief system and your mind, right? That's why it's really important that you get your thinking right, that you get your belief system right. And we are not just saying it's a belief act, no, it's a system. That's why you can be motivated for a few minutes, but eventually you are going to go back to what has settled as your system of being, right? And this is why discipline is important, because it's only through discipline that you can rewire your mind to think differently. Because you feed it certain things, and it is said that it takes 21 days to build a habit. So if you feed your mind positive things, eventually you do this long enough, generally your entire system and demeanor begin to look for positivity. But a lot of us, we have a lot of negative, the feedback loop we have is negative. That's why we struggle with a lot. All of us go through moments where we don't feel quite like things are fine. But depending on how your mindset is, or how is your belief system? Because there are those, even when they are down, deep down they believe they will bounce back because that is their belief system. But for some of us, when you are down, it takes a very long time because this person must say to you, that person must, because there's so much negativity. A lot of us are not short of talent, we are not short of skills, we are not short of ability, we are not stupid. But our talents, our gifts, and our abilities have become victims of our mindset. Because it doesn't matter how brilliant you are, if the system around that does not support this talent. Your intelligence, instead of working for you, becomes a tool that works against you. You go out in the world, and because you are so smart, you look at all negative things that you concoct and put together as to why you are not going to make it, as to why you are probably going to die, as to why this will not work. Oh, there's so much unemployment, I'll not get a job even if I go to school. What's the point of even going to school if I will eventually die? Right? There are people who think like this, and they are in a state of paralysis when it comes to doing anything meaningful long term because they can't commit. There's all this feedback, this negative feedback loop that goes on and on. And a lot of us are victims of this thing. And this brings me to why personal development, personal improvement is so important. Because I'm not just a thing of saying, no, think positively, everything will be fine, that, sunshines and rainbows and whatnot, but I'm more an advocate of holistic thinking, right? Setting up your mind in such a way that it serves you. Because a lot of us have things we have made up in our minds that are hurting us, but we made it up, not you. We're suffering only because of our own imagination and our own. It's almost like a child going to bed that they're thinking because maybe they were listening to fairy stories, now they think there is a monster in the closet, so now they can't sleep. But there is nothing there. But in the mind, it's very much real and they feel like it's there. Because how you think is eventually how you feel. And when you get to the feeling part of things, it takes a bit of time to restructure because the thought is instant. You can think about something now, but for it to go down to the level of feeling, you kind of have to dwell on that for a while. And it remunerates and then eventually it becomes a feeling. So even when you now want to change the negative feeling, you start with positive thought. It's not going to change how you feel instantly. That's why you need the discipline to be able to act even when you don't feel like it, because you are in the process of rewiring. And eventually you start to see the more you dwell, and this thing is a matter of focus and what you pay attention to. Because where your focus is, because it is a blessing and a curse, I guess, because we are not able to experience too many things at the same time. Our experience of life is chunked into moments. So from moment to moment, what are you focusing on? Because when you choose to what you focus on, you amplify it above everything else. And the trick, if any of you have ever been in that depressed state, that state where you feel like nothing is working, everything is working against you, it puts you in an illusion where you feel like that is all there is in that moment and there is no life beyond that terrible situation. But it is not true. That's why it's important that you learn to trick your mind into serving you all the time. Because at the end of the day, you must understand your mind is a tool, right? And you don't serve the tool. A tool is something that is supposed to work for you. You're supposed to be the one dictating the direction it goes in. So when you understand it as that, then you begin to understand how it works. What eventually leads to thought. The things you watch, the things you listen to, the environment you are in. Very important. Because whether we are saying we want to have big dreams and do what, our dreams are an exaggerated version of our reality and what is real to us right now. So for you to be able to exaggerate extremely positive things or extremely great things, you kind of need visual aids to be able to see that this is possible. That, oh, this can be done like this. And then you just take it to the next level. So it's very important that there is so much in life that is already happening, right? You don't want to be an additional problem to yourself. Because I say it's important that I am never the issue in my life. Let that company reject me. Let that business opportunity not work out. Let that, but I must always work towards what's best for myself. I must always be my number one supporter. I must always motivate me. I must always pick myself up whenever I'm there. I must always show up. Even when people don't show up, I will show up for myself. When people fail me, I will uphold myself and I will not fail myself to do what I need to do. But a lot of us is when people put us down, we put ourselves down 10 times more than the people have. When people insult us, we insult ourselves 100 times to amplify the insult of people because this is what we do. People shame you and you shame yourself 20 times more than what people have done. People hurt you, you hurt yourself 100 times more than with your thinking. Because as long as there's no enemy within, the enemy without will do us no harm. But a lot of us, we help the enemy, we are the enemy within. People say things, we believe those things, and we replay those things in our minds, and they become our reality. People say you are stupid, you go around thinking you are stupid. People say you won't make it, you believe them, and you go around thinking you are not going to make it. People are going to say what they are going to say, they will do what they will do, but you must build your mind up in such a way that I am my number one fan. I will show up for myself. I will not give up on myself. As long as there is breath, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to try the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. The only thing that's going to stop me is death. But I'm going to keep moving and I'm going to keep trying. And I think with this mentality, there is no such thing as defeat because it is said that for a man who is determined, for a person who is determined, there's no such thing as failure. There's just an opportunity to come back and try better, try harder. Because failure is a conclusion, and as long as your life is not concluded, you have not failed. You have an opportunity to try again in a new way, to try again differently. A lot of us, we give up on ourselves. We watch the wrong things, we listen to the wrong things, we spend time in the wrong environment, and we wonder why our thoughts are the way they are. Because many of us do not have the capability to influence our environment. We are influenced by what is around us. That's why, because of that, it's very important that you surround yourself with people who motivate you. Surround yourself with listen, even when your environment is not conducive. These days you can have the visual environment, your social media. What are you listening to? Are you always listening to gossip? Are you always watching the news of how AI is taking all the jobs? Is that what you are always feeding yourself? Or have you tapped into a positive network of people who are saying, despite what happened, this is the best time it has ever been to make money. This is the best time it has ever been to go to school. This is the best time it has ever been to advise you to do A and B. So it depends. Because with our religious and belief systems, we have believed in a lot of crazy things. I have believed in a lot of crazy things. I was in a place that I think Jesus will come 2017. So if I could believe in that, then I think I can, and I really believe it with all my heart, with all my emotion, I put everything into it. Now, what is stopping me from believing that I can be a millionaire, billionaire? What is stopping me from believing that I can make my dreams come true? What is stopping me from believing that I can build we can reach, build generational wealth within my lifetime? What is stopping me from believing that I can change my financial situation from what it is to? What is stopping me from believing that I can live the life of my dreams, make the women of my dreams, settle down? What is stopping me from believing that if I was crazy enough to believe someone else who told me that Jesus will come next year, and I believe that, and I bought into that and put all my emotion into it. But now I just need to believe something different, something now, something in the now, not a belief of when I die one day I'll go. No, to believe now that I'll see who has done it and I'll see how it can be done. I'm gonna build my business. I believe I'm gonna make it. I believe I will succeed. And because you think like this, ideas have suddenly started coming. Almost every day I get many different kinds of business ideas because in my mind I have determined that this is where I want to go. And I believe it so much that my mind has now begun to work for me to make it shows me opportunities of how money can be made because I have determined that I want to make money. And this is what we need because a lot of us we see only bad things. We are always complaining because our mindset is such as our system of thinking is so corrupted that it only shows us to the wrong. Shows us who your system is only here to tell you who might be cheating, who is a witch, who is a wizard, who is holding you back, who is what. But why can't you see who is for you? Why can't you see how many opportunities arise that can be made? Why are you only seeing that there's only corruption, you can never make it? How about those who succeeded despite corruption? How did they make it? And I believe that I am one of them. Is it crazy? Is it improbable? Is it what? Probably. But I'm gonna believe this, and my mind gives me that positive feedback loop that this is how you are gonna do it. Every video I watch, everything in my algorithm, in the thing I see like in the opportunities seem to be aligning and coming up because the mindset is reframed. There was a time when I was deep into those things where I also believed that people were reaching me this like, and your everyday life is hard because every day you are biting and breaking. Every day you are seeing, this person is against me. Every day you are having bad dreams. Every day because that is how you are trained yourself to be. That is what your mind is. Your system of thought is like that. You are only thinking of who will witch you, who is trying to poison you, who wants to hold you back. I refuse to think that way. Am I saying that there are no people who are trying to hold you back? They probably are there, but they are not my focus. My focus is more on how can I get to where I want to get. What is the way? Who has walked that way? Who can help me? Who is doing what I want, I envision to do at that high level? How are they doing it? How did they start? Because everybody knows they have learned at some point. Nobody was born doing what they are doing now. Everybody learned. And I'm going to be a student and I'm going to learn. People with a foolproof mindset, the Goggins of this world, people who have been challenged to become the lesbians of this world. But despite the odds that were against them, they achieved their dreams because they got their thinking right. They read the right things. They listened to the right things. They surrounded themselves with the right people. They got into certain circles. And that is the formula. So that is left to replicate. Because you want to have this idea, you want to get certain things started so that when you come to that negotiating table, you don't go there empty-handed. You don't go empty-handed. You go with something. People are willing to, if you go to people just saying, oh, give me money for rent, give me money for what, probably they won't give you, but when you go there with ideas, so there's money that can be made here. Money is still being channeled in your direction. But you're speaking the business language now. You're speaking the language of the market now. You're not going there as a beggar. So get your thinking right. Above all else, get your system of thinking, your thought process, your belief system, get it right. And eventually that begins to fix your outlook on life. It begins to affect the ideas you are having, the dreams you are having, right? And that is really it. It's not a secret. It's simple. It's complicated, but it's not easy. But it is possible. And as long as it's possible, that's the most important thing. Because if it's possible for me, it's possible for someone else,